Listening to Ron Siegel Radio on ESPN Radio 1700. Now, live in studio, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries. As we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media, this is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family, your business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in a quick reminder. Within every market, there's solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities, and you just need some trusted guidance. That's my message. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items affecting the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you as well, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Yes, of course, we're celebrating today. Now, I did not get to indulge in National Margarita Day. I am extremely disappointed that I missed that. Ooh, those guys are loud today, aren't they? But today is National Tortilla Chip Day, so we'll celebrate National Tortilla Chip Day, and we can add National Margaritas right going with it. What do you think about that one? And just to give you a sneak peek, because I am that kind of guy, a sneak peek there, tomorrow? National Chocolate Covered Nut Day. And as you know, sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't. Just saying. I better move right along here this morning. I got a lot to cover today. It's a lot going on in the news. Oh, boy, holy cow. One of the things that we are watching very, very closely are the markets. We do that for you all the time. Dow Jones down, as I am speaking right now, 99 points. What does that mean, though? Because that's also telling us the U.S. 10-year Treasury has moved down. That means mortgage rates are moving down. If you have not gotten in a position to lock in a mortgage rate to do a little bit better than what you're doing, save your family some money, I would suggest we chat. I think there's a lot of room for you to chat with our friends over at VIP Mortgage, and I will give you a free Adopt a Mortgage Total Cost Analysis. Then you can do with it as you wish. All you need to do is send us a copy of your most recent mortgage statement. There's nothing on there that's not public information already. So that's why I have no problem saying, just send that over. It's, public information, and you're going to do better from it. One of the reasons we're seeing the new housing starts dropped drastically. The Commerce Department reports sales of new single-family homes fell 9.2% last month to an annualized rate of 494,000 units. Wall Street was expecting 520,000 units. So that one, I shared that with you, that's going to happen. Where the biggest problem with the new housing starts, or the new housing unit sales, and the biggest, and as well as existing home sales problem there, is there's just a lack of inventory. There's no product out there for people to buy. You have equity in your home. A lot of people don't understand it, but you have equity in your home. It's there. You just have to realize that if you, again, just text PEAR, Professional Equity Analysis Review. That way you don't have to worry about it. Text PAIR, PEAR, to 79564, and we'll get you the amount of equity that you have in your property. That way you can make a decision. Number one, do you want to, should you restructure your home loan, refinance your home loan, take advantage of the rates that are in place? I just looked this morning for somebody. Rates are under 4 again, under 4, and that's not for those of you that have to have a 780 FICO score or 40% equity in your home, like a lot of these teaser things that go on in commercials. Yeah, that's how they get the rates the way they do it. They sit there and they use a teaser, and they say, okay, well, if you've got 40% equity in a $417,000 property, first off, you know from our conversations that's not wise. Because that money is doing absolutely nothing for you. It should be working for you, and it's not if you've got 40% equity. We can show you how to make that money go to work for you, maybe even minimize some taxes. But that's a different story. We'll talk about that more as the broadcast goes on. Did you see the president? He is still... I just can't understand this. He's talking about the idea of closing Gitmo. Now... okay, so I understand that it was one of those things that he promised to do when he got into office. And that's pretty common. Presidential candidates make a lot of promises as they're heading toward office. Then they realize once they get into office, yeah, it's not quite as simple as we made it think. And they want to make sure that they keep the country safe. So... why is it that the president is saying, now that he's about to leave office, he's going to close Guantanamo Bay, even though it wasn't good enough or couldn't happen while he was in office? See what I'm saying? Does it make any sense? Why would he do that? Obviously, in my opinion, it does put America at more risk. Really, when you think about it, the president's reasoning for closing Gitmo is because the terrorists, ISIS, use that as propaganda. Hogwash. That's just a bunch of malarkey.
You're absolutely useless.
Yeah, absolutely. Does that mean that if you close Guantanamo Bay, Gitmo, that the terrorists are going to start liking us all of a sudden? Does that make any sense to anybody? So the fact of the matter is, and we have our friends here that where we really heard this.
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
It's simply ideological. There is no logic in the world of closing Guantanamo Bay. It will put us at more risk, just the way it is. Moving along in the news, Donald Trump back in the news. I guess he never gets out of the news. He's always got his mug on something in the news. Even if it's nothing pertaining to him, he does weigh into it. Well, I had the Nevada caucus yesterday. I don't know why they do caucuses anyway. It doesn't. I don't understand that. Why shouldn't everybody have the opportunity to vote in a secret election? But Nevada, like Iowa, well, this is a little bit different, but they have their caucuses. Trump wins the caucus. People are starting to realize Cruz, he's fallen by the wayside. Rubio's moving up a little bit. See where that goes, how that progresses for all of us. Looks like Trump's going to run away with it. You've heard me say this before. It would not be my first choice. There are a lot of people that seem to like him, and this is a democracy, so we will appears that we're going to get that liberal as opposed to maybe liberal Hillary Clinton. Well, I don't know. Maybe Hillary will be going to jail. Who knows? I doubt if they'll ever indict her. Moving right along. Erin Andrews in the news. Have you been following this story? It's going back several years now. Erin Andrews, ESPN reporter. Yeah, she was in a hotel, a Marriott, way back when, and some peeping Tom was videotaping her in the Marriott. Apparently the person went to 3 different locations. Now here's the issue that I just don't understand is why is it that you got this guy, Michael David Barrett. It always scares me when you see these people with 3 different names. Michael David Barrett, Lee Harvey Oswald, John Wilkes Booth, the scary kind of things like that. But he pleaded guilty to renting the hotel room next to Andrews in 3 different cities. Yet she's suing the hotel for $75 million. I'm not sure I understand that. But we will keep on watching it just for the, I don't know, I guess it's entertainment value. Miss Andrews is an entertainer, so I'm assuming that she realizes that she will be public public perception here. Go back to a little bit on the elections, because I like to talk about politics. I have a mortgage background, but politics I'm just a political junkie. California voters, being that there is no real party system in California anymore, being that they're open primaries, California voters going without any party affiliation. We're going to talk. We'll talk about that more when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, we will also chat a little bit, maybe more than a little bit, about buying a home. What are you waiting for? What Dave Ramsey doesn't acknowledge about credit cards, maybe even mortgages. Mortgage rates, again, at historic lows, all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Call our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter, @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Ron Siegel Radio Date Night Trivia, presented by Reunion Kitchen and Drink. Friday, Ron will pose a question based on on-air conversations during the prior 7 programs. The person to post the answer according to the guest conversation will win a date night package, including a dinner gift card for Reunion Kitchen and Drink. You might even be able to say hi to Ron when you visit Reunion Kitchen and Drink.
It's not every day your home gets flooded, but when it happens, you've got the good people at Apris on your side. With over 25 years of construction and insurance experience, they can turn any disaster around, making your home good as new. For 24/7 support, call 844-GO-APRIS or find us on the web at www.apris.me. Day, night, rain, or shine, when it happens to you, you know what to do. Go Apris. Remember, call 844-GO-APRIS. That's 844-462-7747.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel Radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime. At 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Once again, I share this with you, as I do on a frequent basis. You can't make an educated decision on your home if you don't know the true value of your home. Text PAIR Professional Equity Analysis Review to 79564. The trusted professionals will reach out to you, have a conversation with you, and discuss the value of your home. So let me ask you this question. If you are thinking about buying a home, what are you waiting for? So with the spring right around the corner, you may be wondering if you should wait to enter the housing market. We know 57% of all homes sold last month were going to first-time home buyers. Here are 4 great reasons to consider buying a home today instead of waiting. Prices will continue to rise. CoreLogic's latest home price index reports that home prices have appreciated by 6.3% over the last 12 months. 6.3% over the last 12 months. That's national numbers. The same report predicts that prices will continue to increase at a rate of 5.4% over the next 12 months. Again, national prices. Here in California, we are talking about over a 10% appreciation. The Home Price Expectation Survey polls a distinguished panel, 100 economists, investment strategists, and housing market analysts. Their most recent report projects home values to appreciate by more than 3.2% a year for the next 5 years. The bottom in home prices, it's come and gone. If you were waiting for prices to go back down again, sorry. I don't believe it's going to happen. I don't know for sure. I just don't believe it's going to happen with the shortage of inventory and the creation of new home formations. That would be people that have been either living with mom and dad and now moving out on their own, or people coming of age to move out on their own. That's household formations. With us seeing the increase in those household formations, it's creating demand. Yet there is still that misguided thought that people don't have equity in their homes, so they're not buying new homes, or they're not selling their home. They don't think they've got the equity to do it, to buy that move up. They're not right. They're wrong on that scenario. We've told you, text PAIR, P-E-A-R, to 79564. You'll get the value of your home. But the bottom in home prices come and gone. Values will continue to appreciate for years. Waiting no longer makes sense. Then you look at the other side of it, mortgage interest rates. Now, yes, I have been sharing with you that they're going down. That is short term. How long will that last? Hard to say. Freddie Mac's primary mortgage market survey shows that interest rates for a 30-year mortgage have remained below 4%. Most experts predict that they will begin to rise over the next 12 months. The Mortgage Bankers Association, Freddie Mac, and the National Association of Realtors are in unison projecting that rates will be up almost 3/4 of a percentage point by this time next year. Now think about this. Mortgage Bankers Association, Freddie Mac, and the National Association of Realtors. All of those organizations have a vested interest in telling you that interest rates are going to stay low. The lower interest rates are, the better their business is. And they're saying that rates will be up by 0.75% by this time next year. An increase in rates will impact your monthly mortgage payment. Your housing expense will be more a year from now if a mortgage is necessary to purchase your next home. Number 3, you are paying a mortgage. If you own a home, you know that you're paying a mortgage. There is that, 20-30% of the people that are not paying a mortgage, that they own their homes free and clear. Those are the people that have not chatted with us, do not realize that money is dead equity, that they can be doing something better with that money. Maybe they even minimize their taxes. That when you have a home free and clear, there's a good chance you're paying more tax money than you should. As a paper from the Joint Center for Housing Studies at Harvard University explained, households must consume housing whether they own or rent, not even accounting for more favorable tax treatment of owning. Homeowners pay debt service to pay down their own principal, while households that rent are paying down the principal of a landlord plus a rate of return. That's yet another reason owning often does, as Americans intuit, end up making more financial sense than renting. Very, very few times that it makes more sense to rent, but there are very few times that you can do that. Number 4, It is time to move on with your life. The cost of a home is determined by two major components: the price of the home and the mortgage rate. Both will probably be rising sooner or later. Both are going to go up. But what if they weren't? Would you wait? Look at the actual reason you're buying and decide whether it is worth waiting. Whether you want to have a great place for your children to grow up, you want your family to be safer, you just want to have control over renovations, maybe it is time to buy. And yes, the renovations is a biggie. We chatted last week, if you remember, with Chris Corrales. And all he talked about last week really was the concept of that solar pool motor or the DC-powered pool motor, that you could run your pool longer during the day, use less chemicals, and cost less money. But what if you want new windows? What if you want new ducting? What if you want a more efficient air conditioning or heating unit? Those things are all things you can do in a home of your own that you could not do in a rental property. The landlord isn't going to go and spend $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 to make that property more energy efficient so you can save money on your utilities. When you talk to Chris and some of the financing options, 100% financing that he has available, no payments until December of next year. Think about how much money you'll save this year, but not making payments until December of next year. Those are some options that are out there. If the right thing for you and your family is to purchase a home this year, my suggestion is buying sooner rather than later could lead to substantial savings. Let me suggest one other thing. While interest rates are low and while property prices are appreciating, your purchasing power is greater right now than it will be at any time in the future. What does that mean? Well, think about this. The amount that you can pay for a home is predicated on the amount that you can qualify for. Your income, your other expenses, your other fixed expenses. Well, when interest rates go up, that's going to affect your debt-to-income ratio. And I'm not going to get technical with that, but it will have an impact on the debt-to-income ratio. As interest rates go down, your payment can be used different. Your payment can go toward the price of the property as opposed to paying for interest. If it's going for the price of property, think about that. Now you're doing better. You are going to be able to get a bigger property, a more expensive property, for the same mortgage payment. And I'm going to share with you what I share with a lot of people that call me on a daily basis. But Ron, what if interest rates go down again? My comment is very simple. You're right, what if they go down again? But what if they go up? If they go up, you can do nothing about it. You're locked in, you're stuck. If they go down, you can restructure, refinance your home loan and take advantage of the lower market. You already like the property because you bought it. If you didn't like it, you wouldn't have bought it in the first place. So you like the property. Now you can restructure your loan and get a new loan with a lower payment. I have never, well, I guess I have had a few people that don't make a lot of sense to me, but rarely do I find people that say, you know something, Ron, I don't want a lower loan payment. I just had one the other day that told me that if he couldn't get a rate that was almost crazy, that he didn't want to save $350 a month restructuring now. $350 per month. Now, to me, if you can save that much money, why wouldn't you? If you can save $100 a month, that's $30,000. What can, over the life of most loans, $30,000. To me, $30,000 is a lot of money. Now, how often would you trade that cost? The cost of doing a new loan is going to be somewhere around $3,500. Yes, you can build it in so you don't have to pay it, but it's still going to be a cost built in somewhere, about $3,500. So you tell me if it's worth trading $3,500 for $30,000. That's the trade-off. To me, it's a no-brainer. how you structure it, that's what makes sense in many instances, is do you want to pay it out of pocket? Do you want to build it, maybe save a little bit less money and not pay it at all, just build it into the interest rate? Or if you've got the equity, just add it onto the loan. All of those are possibilities. We will continue chatting about it. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. Saving you money, that's our topic today. You can reach us anytime. Call the off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel, on YouTube, Ron Siegel 1. If you missed any part of our broadcast, stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel lending team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel lending team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel lending team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Southern California attorneys have over 15,000 real estate agents to call in Orange County for their personal and professional needs. Why do they overwhelmingly call Melinda Johnson? Simple. It's the Melinda Johnson trifecta. Melinda is an attorney, real estate broker, and realtor. Does your family deserve the same professional services California lawyers demand? Call Melinda Johnson at 714-863-5485. That's 714-863-5485. Or on the web at freedomfirstproperties.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
37% of American homeowners believe they have over 20% equity in their homes. Fannie Mae tells us 69% of American homeowners have over 20% equity in their homes. Fully 1 in 3 American homeowners are not informed about the amount of equity they have in their homes. Are you one of them? How might this be holding you back from achieving your goals? Text RSR CMA to 79564 to get a property valuation from one of the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Again, to know how much your home is really worth, simply text RSR CMA to 79564.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer, they have these solutions for you. You just need to go to their website, CreditSanitizer.com. Look at that box right there in the middle. There's an FES Solutions box. They do a lot of education there. And it really gets to the heart of it. I think it's $87 a month, something like that. Or you can do the full annual payment. And they're going to give you all kinds of services, including LifeLock and helping you fix your credit and helping you determine which are the best credit cards to pay off in which order, which amounts. A lot of different benefits right there. Again, creditsanitizer.com. What Dave Ramsey doesn't acknowledge about credit cards, I don't know. He's got another radio show. And I'm not a big fan of many of his philosophies. They work where he is. They don't work where we are. They work in Knoxville, Tennessee. You can buy a house there, $80,000, $100,000. You get a mansion for $200,000 or $300,000. I understand it. I get it. But this is California. And in most parts of California, we're not getting too many houses, or at least not too much house, for $80,000. So Mr. Ramsey talks about the idea of paying cash for everything, not liking credit cards, not wanting to pay interest. He talks about using the debit card. I'm going to suggest to you that in those areas, he and I just don't agree. See, I like to use a credit card for everything. I don't want to have a credit card that I'm making payments on, but I want to be able to use it within my budget. Yes, I agree with him. Have a budget, track your expenses. The credit card is a lot easier to use to track all my expenses than if I'm trying to keep a whole bunch of receipts. Now, yes, I do keep some receipts, and I do use a smartphone and take a picture of the receipt and keep it that way. But I don't want to have everybody to have access to my debit card. I want to have some of the benefits that come with that credit card. Some of them have the longer term warranty because of the credit card relationship. Try and rent a car. Try and go to a hotel without having a credit card. Not very easy. I agree with Mr. Ramsey. You want to keep an emergency fund. And as I've shared with you before, pay off your balance of the credit card every single month before the statement closing date. If you wait until after the statement closing date, it's not going to help your credit score. I want to see you have the greatest credit score possible. Now, Mr. Ramsey, that his program, that's not their issue because they like to pay cash for everything. You see, I'm not in the same boat. I'm in the boat of let's see how we can make the most money. And there's only, in my knowledge, two ways of making money in this country. You can make money off of your efforts, or you can make money off of your money's money, your money's efforts. You work off of your back or get your money to work for you. That would either be hiring somebody or investing that money properly. So let's just think about that when we talk about this concept of what do some of these programs that are talking about paying off a mortgage, paying off your house. So in Southern California, and again, the numbers might not mean anything in Knoxville, Tennessee, where Mr. Ramsey is, or Nashville, whichever one. I think it's Knoxville. But think about this, $80,000 house, if you're making 5% a year, 4% a year, you're not talking huge money. It's still money I'd rather have than not have. But it's not massive amounts of money. It's not large quantities of money. But let's think about $400,000 a year. And I'm going to use the same numbers for both. So if you can make $8,000 a year on $400,000, well, now you're talking about $32,000 a year. When you're talking about 8% times 80,000, so let's look at that. You're looking at $6,400 versus $32,000, and that's assuming an 8% return. And I like 8% because I know that in some of the insurance programs that we talk about, over the last 30 years, they're averaging 8%. Average. So think about this concept. If you can take and pull $400,000 out of your house and put it into an insurance contract that is a AAA insurance product, AAA rated insurance product, and you can make $32,000 a year. That's almost, figure I think we're talking right now $53,000 is average annual income or a median family household income. So when you talk about making $32,000 a year on your money, that's almost another salary. And you're not paying taxes on it. And you're getting a tax write-off on the mortgage. And it's AAA insured so you don't lose money. Yes, there are insurance companies that have gone out of business, few and far between. But for the most part, AAA rated insurance companies, they just always pay off. We even saw when the market crashed in 2007, 2008, the government stepped in to make sure that the money, the consumers were made whole. The consumers did not lose their money. So $32,000 a year, you're going to be doubling that money every, 9 years, 8 years, something like that? 9 years? You're going to double that $400,000. So 9 years from now, you've got $800,000. Think about what that means when you get to retirement time. What will that do for your retirement at that point? Now again, Mr. Ramsey likes the idea of having your house paid off. He calls it freedom. I call freedom having the exact amount of money in a safe, secure, liquid investment account where I have access to the money when I want it, but if I don't need it, it's working for me. And at this point in time, we're looking at interest rates in the 3-4% range. So think about that. Your interest, your money's costing you, let's just use 4%, and you can make 8% on the money. Now, the 4% is probably going to really cost you 3% after taxes. You're probably in a higher tax bracket than 25%, but just say you're in the 25% tax bracket. That money's costing you 3 and you're going to earn 8, and that 8 is tax deferred, and we'll show you if you do it properly. The partners of Ron Siegel Radio, your household board of directors, they'll show you how to make that money tax-free. So, okay, borrow at 3, earn 8. That's like saying I'm going to go out and buy $100 bills for $30 and I'll sell them for $80. How many times do you want to do it? Right? It doesn't make sense to have all that money tied up in your house. Now, emotionally, you might say, yeah, but I like having the house paid off. And I can't argue with your emotions. Those are yours. But I can tell you, why would you do that? You go every day to buy something. You go to buy a cup of coffee at Starbucks. They pay money for the coffee, you pay more. You might go to Nordstrom. You might go to Walmart. You might go to Target. You might go somewhere to buy something someplace. They go out and they buy that on the open market and mark it up and sell it to you. Well, money is no different. You can go out and buy that money at 4%, 3% after taxes, or whatever your tax bracket is. I'm not giving you tax advice here. And then you can invest it, and historically the average return is 8%. I don't know what it will be, but I'm going to say historically 8%. But on some of these insurance products, you are paying so that you're going to get a return on investment of somewhere between 2% and 13%. 2 to 13. Historically, again, who owns the biggest building in your city? In almost every city, now if you're in a small town, it may not be the case, but in almost every city, the biggest buildings are either owned by the federal government or an insurance company. How do those insurance companies buy that? Well, they take premiums, that's money, invest it to make more money so that they can buy those big buildings to make more money and give you a little bit back when they have a claim to pay out. Don't you want to be involved in that? Because in these investment vehicles, you get that money back based on the contract. And if you do it right, there's no tax liability to it. It's been around for decades and centuries. I don't know, for long, I think it's 200 years is when this law went into effect. Borrowing money at a low rate, having it safe, secure, and liquid so you can get at it, and then lending it or letting somebody else use it for a return on investment that is significantly higher. I consider that freedom because your money keeps growing. And if you take 5% out at 30 years from now and the money keeps growing at 8%, you tell me, according to Mr. Ramsey's theory, what happens when you go to retire and you have to start paying taxes on your retirement fund and you have no tax write-offs? Just a question. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. Throwing some politics in there, too. When we come back, mortgage rates again at a historic low. We will chat about it. You can reach me anytime. Call our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter, @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, the archives of ronsiegelradio.com has those shows, as well as Ron Siegel and the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area-trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you have a loved one who wants to stay in their home, but you have health concerns about it? The Preferred Care team understands the challenges of caring for your loved ones. Their goal is to keep seniors as independent as possible while maintaining their health, safety, and overall well-being. Whether you need just a few hours a week or 24-hour care, Preferred Care caregivers are trained to meet your needs. Call Preferred Care at 714-696-9150. That's 714-696-9150. Or visit preferredcare.com.
In these uncertain times, it's getting harder and harder to find a safe and effective method of investing. If you're looking at retirement options that can provide some real security for you and your family, look no further than a reverse mortgage with Siegel Lending Team. Hundreds of thousands of other Americans are already taking advantage of reverse mortgages. It allows you to eliminate monthly mortgage payments, pay some bills, or simply enjoy your retirement more. A government-insured reverse mortgage with Siegel Lending Team allows seniors to stay in their home and turn their equity into tax-free cash. To qualify, there are no credit score requirements, and remember, you continue to retain complete ownership of your home. Call 1-800-306-1990 to receive a new special edition handbook, Feature Reverse Mortgage Borrowers, plus an educational brochure absolutely free. Find out more. Call Siegel Lending Team today, 1-800-306-1990. SiegelLendingTeam.com, that's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com, or 1-800-306-1990.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Community college alumni. Join the Alumni Fest party at the San Diego Gulls game Friday, March 11th. Get tickets for $10 at alumnifest.org. Hosted by California Coast Credit Union and the San Diego Gulls.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. 1390. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends over at VIP Mortgage. If you are ready to save money on your mortgage, or if you're looking to purchase a new home, the friends at VIP Mortgage have every product you might need. They've got the products that allow you to do whatever you want. One day out of short sale, one day out of bankruptcy, one day out of foreclosure, you can buy a house, as well as the FHA products. Low 3% range on 30-year fixed-rate loans. They've got the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. Even I saw a big news story just recently, and they were talking about one of the big banks on the corner coming out with a new loan product that's 3% down and using private mortgage insurance instead of going FHA. There's nothing new about that. It's a basic Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac product, and they were just talking about they're creating their own insurance or their own mortgage insurance for that particular product. It's nothing new. It's something that almost everybody has or everybody should have. You just need to understand how to make that work for you, for your family. So again, we're seeing, and I was just looking during the break at what's happening in the bond market and in the stock market. 10-year Treasury, it's at 1.71 yield, and that should be 50 to 100 basis points, 0.5% or 1% over the German 10-year. That's usually the normal spread between the two. The German 10-year is down at 0.16. That would mean that if we maintain that spread, our 10-year Treasury should be at about 0.66 to 1.16, and we're a half a point higher than that. So there is quite a bit of room that's going to have to be readjusting to bring those more in line and make it so that the two of those are closer to their historic norms. To make that happen, that means our 10-year Treasury would drop a little bit further, and then in following that up, our mortgage rates would drop as well. Just the way they seem to work, they kind of flow hand in hand. So mortgage rates right now, even with that said and them supposed to be going down even further, the mortgage rates are at historic lows. Think about that. Just 2 weeks ago, we posted an article, I shared this, discussing where mortgage interest rates may be heading over the next 12 months. And again, I quoted Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Mortgage Bankers Association, National Association of Realtors, all talking about interest rates rising slowly and steadily through 2016. But shaky economic news and a volatile stock market have actually caused rates to drop 6 out of the last 7 weeks and have remained at 3.65% for the past 2 weeks. Now, you have to understand when we talk about 3.65%, those are Freddie Mac numbers, and it generally means Freddie Mac numbers generally have 1 point cost built into them. Generally, if you have 1 point, rough numbers, is going to equal 0.25% reduction in interest rate. So if you take that quarter out, or if you add that quarter back and not have to pay that point, you're looking at about a 3.9 interest rate right now. But either way, it doesn't matter. Rates, again, fallen in near historic lows. Many experts still expect them to increase in 2016. Now, here's what I know for sure. According to Freddie Mac, current rates are the best they've been since last April. If you're thinking about restructuring your loan, why wouldn't you take advantage of it? I shared that with you earlier, that here's the concept, because I didn't have a lot of time to go into this earlier in the broadcast. If you go and change your interest rate, if you go and take advantage of the lower interest rate today, you know, if you're at a 4, 4.25, 4.5, depending upon what your situation is. And again, I don't know your situation. Sometimes 4.5 might be a great rate for you. Might be a great rate. I don't know your situation. That's why I can't tell you, yes, it is, or no, it's not. But if it's not a great rate based on your situation, then you need to know it. And again, how do you know it? Well, your mortgage professional should be letting you know. I can tell you this. All of the people whose mortgages we have adopted at Ron Siegel Radio, and you know that that's a free service where we will adopt your mortgage and create for you what we call a total cost analysis. We put your existing mortgage on a graph for you, interactive graph. We put the current interest rates based on what you tell us about yourself. Now, I don't know whether you're using a Vantage rate or a Vantage score or a FICO score. I don't know which one you're using. Once I know which one you're using, then we can go to the next step. And if you tell me, okay, Ron, I've got a 730 FICO score, and we know we could base on a 730 FICO, we can put right on a total cost analysis for you, the Adopt a Mortgage, and say, okay, based on that number, you can save $200 a month after fees. Or if you continue making the exact same payment, it might cut 2 years off of your mortgage payments. You might save 2 years worth of time in those mortgage payments. Now, those are both very, very good options for you. I don't know which makes more sense for you, either having a lower mortgage because you might have other things to do with that money, or cutting down the amount of time that you're going to be continuing to make those payments. Which one makes more sense to you? I don't know. But I can tell you this, one of those is going to be logical. And once you make that decision, once you have a good amount of education, you can decide, yeah, I want to lower my interest rate. Yeah, it makes sense for me to lower the interest rate and continue making the same payment. This is called mortgage planning. When you go online, you don't get a mortgage planner. All you're getting online is somebody who's telling you a rate. You're not getting service. Yeah, I can go online and get information on how to rebuild my transmission. Probably not going to start the car once I do it because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Furthermore, I don't even want to. So what is the value here? What are you doing here? The idea is then get great advice. What's the great advice going to cost you? Not a huge amount of money. Great advice, when you're talking about mortgages, generally you're going to be talking about $10, $15, $20 a month. But you're talking about $500,000, $750,000 that you're spending. Think about that concept. You're spending $750,000 and it's not worth $20 a month to get better advice. Does that make sense to you? Do you understand where I'm heading with this? Do you understand why I share this information so passionately with you? It's not because it affects me or my life. I've already got an interest rate that is very, very significant. That's the beauty here. What I want to know is, what is it going to do for you? Have you made these choices? Have you done these things for your family? How do you understand them? There's where the beauty of all this comes in. That's what we want you to save. We want you to look and say, okay, I want to take and convert, maybe $25,000 in credit card debt. And I'm going to use up some of my home equity. Not ideal. You don't want to do that too often. But I'm going to use some of my equity and pay that credit card debt off, convert that into a 4% or 3.5% or 4.25% or whatever the number is. Convert that into mortgage debt. Might be tax deductible. Credit card debt is not tax deductible. Mortgage debt, you got to talk to your tax person, but probably is tax deductible. And it's certainly going to be less expensive than paying that credit card company for the interest. Again, this is planning on the debt side of your balance sheet. You got to look at these things. That's where a lot of your money is going. And don't rack up those bills again. Don't rack up the bills again. Take advantage of the fact that you did some good planning. Part of it's going to be making the exact same payment. When I talk to somebody about debt consolidation before I send them over to our friends over at VIP Mortgage, I show them exactly how much money you are going to save through debt planning, through mortgage planning, through debt consolidation. And then the way we end that conversation, don't change the amount of money you're spending right now. Send that extra money to the mortgage and lower that balance. We'll talk about it. I've told you before, I am more than willing to have our team, the Ron Siegel Radio team, adopt your mortgage. But I ask you to set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Steve, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun, have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
You're listening to ESPN Radio 1700.